Okay, so I normally keep away from tech reviews for the most part, and that's because I don't really like getting into benchmarks, and I'm not really into the nitty gritty of why one machine might be better than another. And I think when it comes to purchasing, I think you should probably look somewhere else. But with that being said, I would like to do a little 1 month review on the new iPad Air. Let me give some context, I guess. This is coming from the iPad 10.5 2017. This is the iPad Pro. We are now stepping up to the iPad Air. Now, if you were maybe on the 2019 or 2020 iPad Pro, I'm not sure this upgrade or even side grade makes sense for you. But when I look at it coming from the 2017 model, this is actually a huge upgrade for me. So even though I'm going from 4 speakers to 2, it's a lot louder. And the sound quality is actually a little bit better, even at the higher end. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, how does the iPad Air fit into the entire ecosystem, and why did I spend my money on it? For starters, I was always in love with using the Apple Pencil on the original, whether it was for drawing or whether it was for writing down notes. It was amazing. But one of the things I hated, and many other people hated, was the need to plug it into the Lightning connector. Now, that has been changed, luckily, with the USB-C connector down here. And one of my other gripes with the old iPad was that file transfer, getting files from my computer or from a hard drive to the device, was such a hassle. You always had to use dongles. There was always issues going through the Lightning dongles. And now with USB-C, I don't know if it's just because of the USB interface or if because iPad OS has gotten better with file management over the years. But when it comes to putting files on this iPad, it's definitely a lot more seamless. When it comes to video editing, I'm not sure you should really be looking at an iPad yet, unless you really, really like the Premiere Rush workflow, or maybe iMovie or whatever else works for you on here. But for me personally, I can't go from the fully fledged Premiere Pro on my desktop, and I can't dumb it down to this. But for editing photos, light photo work, or even some types of editing where I would normally have to pull out a Wacom, I actually just use my iPad now. And what I mean by that is, sometimes I'll be color grading an image, right? And I'll want to use the pen feature. And when you're doing it on the desktop, I don't like setting all the parameters and making sure the pen's perfect, right? So with the iPad, with the pressure sensitivity, or with the Wacom, you're able to finally brush on your paintings or on your images, and that's really kind of what I've been looking for a while now. And as I said, the old iPad does all of this. So one of the main things I think a lot of people are asking is, why is the iPad Air so appealing right now? And I think what it comes down to for a lot of people is performance, and is it time to upgrade, right? Like, as I said before, if you're on a 2019 or a 2020 iPad, I'm not sure this is really that appealing for you. But I think if you were like me and you've been using this old 10.5-inch iPad Pro, and your battery's starting to diminish, and you may have some scratches on it, or like me, my screen is flickering like crazy. Obviously, Apple's not the best with repairs, so then maybe it might be time to upgrade. And if you ask me right now, I think it's between the new M1 MacBooks or this iPad Air. And for me personally, I use the iPad as an accessory, as a side tool, for when I don't want to be fully invested in my desk or fully invested in my work. It's more for like when I'm just want to do a little bit of editing on the side, right? And I think some people get away with using the iPad entirely for editing and for video, like for their entire workflow. But I think one thing to keep in mind is that if you use Windows at all, right? And you're used to file management on a hard drive or on whatever your setup may be, seamlessly incorporating that with Apple iPad OS is not going to happen. There's always going to be slight hiccups when going from A to B, and that is the problem. So if you were using an iPad as your only device, I would recommend it by all means. But if you have a Windows laptop, then at least know you are getting into something that is not going to be as seamless as it advertises. And At this point, I'm rambling, and that's why I don't really like to do these tech reviews, because I do want to do it in one take, and I don't want to cut it too much. But I think one of the main things I wanted to get across is the reasons I bought this thing, and it's not for the new Apple Pencil, even though it's nice that it clicks to the side. It's not for Touch ID. It's not for any of the specs or anything that they offered. It's mainly just because this thing is starting to wear down, and if you ask me, an iPad is a very, very important part of my workflow, and maybe I could replace it with a Wacom, but that still requires you to link up with your PC. And at the end of the day, I don't think when I'm sitting on my couch or watching something with my girlfriend, I don't think anything can take away how seamless just light photo editing is on the iPad. And for that, I will always be up to date and keeping up with the new iPads. But for now, I think if you're looking for an iPad, I would keep your eyes out for the new iPad Pro in 2021. And if you can't wait, then by all means, man, pick up an iPad Air, because this thing is amazing. This is the 256 gig version. I don't really think you need much more unless you're doing heavy video editing. And I think this thing will probably last you many, many years to come. There's really not much more to be said. If you like PC gaming, don't buy it. If you do, if that doesn't matter to you, then this is probably a really appealing buy. The Apple keyboard, on the other hand, $300? Hell no. But I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next video, and I think it might be either skateboarding or Apple related, because I have a surprise coming down the line. So, see you in the next one.